Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one lined up for you this morning, regardless of the lack of price action, at least going the way that we all want it to go. We still have some incredible information to look at. The Fed's Jerome Powell, he's told to hurry up. Oh, I think you're going to love hearing this. New Consumer Safety Technology Act, we'll get into that. New comments from Hester Peirce from the SEC about market infrastructure and shortening settlement time. Did she just give us a clue about where all this may be going before we deal with crypto? Monica Long, Ripple XRP, new market infrastructure and financial settlement systems. I tell you, this is just starting to really line up here. And U.S. Treasury nominee says he would focus on regulating crypto. This is going to be a good one. Let's roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here. Almost 2,000 followers on the page right now, ladies and gentlemen. Facebook, we just got on Facebook. It's been about a week now. Follow us there. There will be exclusive content and all our videos, so make sure you give us a follow and a like there. Let's take a look at the numbers this morning. 1.3 trillion plus for the crypto market cap. That's not bad. 8.23% coming back into the market, they say. Bitcoin now over 33,000. Has the market turned a corner? Have we seen the bottom? My goodness, I hope so, right? And if not, I know what to do. I'll buy that dip. Ethereum right now, just getting ready to tap on $2,000 door. And we're looking here, Cardano now at $1.26, up 13.37% on the 24-hour. XRP is up 10.42% on the 24-hour. We are looking at 63 cents this morning. That's right, now 63.49 is where we're at. So things seem to be moving in the right direction this morning. We will hear in the next video today from the technical analyst about whether we're still on track. You're going to want to know that. So let's look at the range right now. 64 cents is where we are. Things are moving back up the ladder here. Bottom end of the range is at 52 cents and the top end is at 65 cents right now. We will keep an eye on it to see. There is an indicator that we may be headed back up the price action there. So that would be very nice. I know, welcome by all, right? So here we see Michael Val 5 Links tells us that backed customers who want to apply for the card should do it via the backed app, and once it gets approved, users could use their funds right away from their backed app and without having to wait for conversion times or bank transfers. How about that? Just a reminder for those that don't know that are new into the space, Backed is a platform that is really owned by Intercontinental Exchange, which also owns the New York Stock Exchange. They must know something about crypto not going away because that's why they built Backed, and it's here to stay. Here we see James Rule XRP reminds us that Mark Cuban got took on some stupid coins, some beware of meme coins. Rug pulls incoming. Billionaire Mark Cuban takes that cryptocurrency hit. And apparently the Titan cryptocurrency, which dropped from $60 to $0 in a day. Mickey Mouse couldn't have done it any better. That's how it goes sometimes. You know what I mean? Do your own research. That's really what you're supposed to do. If you guess, this is usually what happens. Michael Val 5 Links tells us Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, which is CZ from Binance, on his Twitter page said the analytical service CoinMarketCap, which we were just looking at, will start to rank countries that accept crypto as legal tender. How about that for a new metric? Did you ever think that legal tender for crypto would be a metric on a platform? Excuse me. That is remarkable. Okay. So this is pretty amazing right here. This is Dexron, and he has shared here the clip from the Fed getting grilled about central bank digital currencies and whether these CBDCs are ready and how important it is to have them. Jerome Powell knows how important it is to have them, but he does not publicly talk about it a lot, right? We know I don't know, 3 years ago at least 2.5, 3 years ago, he wrote an 8-page dissertation of what a federal dollar central bank digital currency should look like. He knows exactly what's going on here, even though a lot of times he doesn't. So let's just play the clip and then we'll get to it here. Here, let's play it.
One of your other projects you're working on, central bank digital currencies, is going to need to have a secure digital ID to allow people to transact in digital dollars in a safe way that can't be abused. And are you working internationally to try to get these secure digital IDs, as part of your negotiations on central bank digital currencies and others?
I think it's part of the discussion. I would say we're not as far along as your description would suggest on that, but it's certainly something you would need to be able to have it.
Will it be addressed in your white paper coming out this summer?
A lot of things will be addressed. I'm not sure if that would be it. That's something you certainly need that to down the road. We probably will be. We're just laying it out right now.
Yeah, no, it's important for our economic recovery as well as planning to respond to China, frankly, on central bank digital currencies.
Listen.
So move it up on your to-do list. Thanks much, and I yield back.
And look at the eyebrow raise right there at the end. Jerome didn't like being told that.
And I yield back.
He's not used to somebody hitting him with something like that. Now, look, I think this thing is a lot further along because I think there's a lot that's happening behind the scenes that we're not aware on the front side of this because we're retail investors, which, I get. But, obviously that remains to be seen too. But does it? Because look at this. This is Darren Soto, who tells us that our blockchain cryptocurrency bills with Representative Guthrie and Warren Davidson just passed the House as a part of McNerney's Consumer Safety Technology Act. U.S. must remain open to the forefront of emerging technologies by fostering innovation and ensuring customer protection. Well, this is like what we talked about back here with the Telecommunications Act, right? That's what I start thinking about back in the early days of the internet when Bill Clinton's administration came through and they had to start with like the Telecommunications Act to open up what are these protocols we use for the internet. And it starts right here with the Telecommunications Act because we're dealing with protocols now. So according to the Federal Communications Commission, that had to be dealt with. And you know what? We're still talking about protocols today, but instead of moving information, we're moving value. So I would imagine the FCC in some kind of an act that involves the FCC should come into play at some point here. So we will hear this little quick clip right here.
Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain technologies, and cryptocurrency are playing a growing importance in our daily lives and are going to be an economic driver for the 21st century economy. Blockchain, in essence, is a fixed ledger. Once you add data or a transaction, it cannot be changed. Therefore, it makes the data have integrity and makes sure that as we're doing transactions and adding data over the internet, that it can't be changed and that there's certainty to it. That's why it's so critical. And then once we add AI to analyze this fixed data, we could help solve some of the largest problems that we face as a nation. Healthcare, climate change, to be two examples. The delivery of personal protective equipment during a pandemic. And of course, cryptocurrency allows for small businesses in particular to provide services across the world without the transaction costs of exchanging currencies. It'll help with remittances and other ways that we can modernize our economy. It's essential that the United States continue to be a global leader in these emerging technologies to ensure our democratic values remain at the forefront of this technological development. Authoritarian regimes like China and Russia are investing heavily in these areas. It's absolutely critical for the free world to invest and to win the future in these areas. Also, as a responsible global leader, the United States must strike appropriate balance in providing an environment that fosters innovation while ensuring appropriate consumer protection.
There you go. And I mean, this is talking about climate change, like the World Economic Forum and the IMF. I mean, this is and the central banks. This is talking about remittances, right? Cross-border payments. I mean, all of this seems to have the right mojo. Rob Licker asked a proper question here. He says, so do you think this will languish in a committee at the Senate, or do you think it really has a chance for the president to sign it into law in 2021? That remains to be seen. But the point is that the conversation is continuing at the right level, and they're trying to put through the right things to get this passed, because at some point you could fall behind. Right? And I don't believe they'll let it happen for a second. Now, this is a clip here from Barron's, and this is Hester Peirce, and she's got some comments that I believe really lean into what you just heard from Darren Soto. And, you know, listen very carefully to what she says here about the new chairman, Gary Gensler, and talking about market infrastructure, shortening settlement time. Isn't this exactly the same kind of topics that were just discussed by Darren Soto? Cross-border remittances, climate control, right? Because, you know, that's what we're talking about, is the more we can get everyone on this new blockchain, digital currency, CBDC system, the more we can reduce our energy consumption and carbon footprint around the world, let alone shortening settlement time, which really starts to close the window on market manipulation in all markets, not just digital currency. Listen to this.
Do you think we're going to get new and significant regulations that will affect meme trading, cryptocurrency, all the types of oddball behavior we've seen? Or do you think we'll maybe get some more, the change will be more incremental?
The change is usually incremental in our regulations because our rule book is quite thick. And so we're always tinkering with it and making changes to it. Now, because we have a new chair, that's a time when the agency kind of takes a look at its whole regulatory agenda. It's the chairman's agenda. And so he is looking across the whole agency. And so it typically is a time when there's regulatory change, when a new chairman comes in. And I think we've seen in comments that he's made that he is interested in this space, thinking about some of the issues that came out because of the meme trading. People are talking about payment for order flow, something that your average person on the street probably wouldn't have been talking about a year ago, or people are talking about settlement times and, should we shorten the settlement time?
And you can't do that without new market infrastructure. And what is it Ripple does again? Oh, that's right. They're a blockchain infrastructure company. Thanks for reminding me.
So I think some of those kinds of issues are certainly on the table. And then with respect to crypto, again, because it's an area that is growing, I do expect that we'll see some regulatory action related to crypto. I hope it's the adoption of my safe harbor, but we'll see if that's what we get.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
One of the issues around crypto has been the question of whether or not a particular crypto asset is a security or not, or should be regulated. The sale of it should be regulated like a sale of a security. And there's a lot of gray area there. And so I proposed a safe harbor to provide some clarity around what you need to do, the information that you need to give to purchasers of those tokens, those crypto assets, and then parameters for how you can move to decentralization and therefore move outside of the securities laws.
For a person out there who, let's call them a young person who's heavily engaged in this trading, and they understand the risks, and they're in the chat rooms and they're trying to find the next hot thing. Can you think of one or two things that you would tell them that they need to avoid to keep themselves out of hot water?
Well, I mean, leverage is always dangerous. You have to think about that. And people who are using options to juice their returns also need to be really careful, because that can be a very difficult game to play. And I guess the other thing I would say is a lot of the people in the markets are experts who spend all of their time in the marketplace. And so, you have to be aware of your own limitations. I think people always need to be aware of their own limitations when they're entering the marketplace.
And that sounds like a big reason to bring in broker dealers, doesn't it? Like, it's not good that people like you and I are out here. Apparently, we're too stupid to know what we're doing with our money. I hate this kind of condescension towards the retail investor. It's embarrassing. And I wish they would just drop it, right? Invest at your own risk. You don't have to go through a broker dealer to walk into a casino either, right? And hopefully you're using a little more information than we would if we were in a casino playing a slot machine that randomly hits or not. So, this kind of verbiage just kind of scares me a little bit. But however, to speak to the safe harbor rule, yeah, let's adopt the safe harbor rule. Let's have a settlement for the case against Ripple and the SEC. And let's come up with a fine if Ripple did in fact do option contracts over the counter with their customers. Fine them for that, because that would be a security, even though XRP isn't as an asset. The actual contract would be if it was an options contract like I did with Greg Kidd or R3. So I get that, but then let's roll Ripple into the safe harbor rule for the next 3 years and get sorted out what it is, so Ripple, the company, can get back to business, let alone the investors in XRP. Right? Which is a whole nother ballgame too. So let's keep moving here. This is Monica Long, and shout out to Digital Asset Investor for this one. I want you to hear this clip she lays down. She starts off talking about China, and this is like we covered the other day. This is not the first crackdown China has done, but listen to what she says as this piece starts to wrap towards the end here.
The company continues to grow. So since the SEC case was brought against Ripple, we've added 20 new customers to RippleNet, the network that makes cross-border payments more efficient around the world. And we continue to grow and expand the business. Regarding the case, we continue to feel very confident that we are on the right side of the facts and the law here, and we do look forward to getting through it.
Okay, and Monica, if you take this, though, in consideration with what's going on globally, I know you wouldn't be impacted by the China crackdown directly, but it does speak to the broader issue as to regulators trying to hurry up here and come to some agreement on how to regulate this space. I mean, what is your impression? Does this continue to be just a massive overhang on the price, and will we continue to see volatility until there's more consensus globally on how authorities should handle the crypto market?
What we're seeing in China, as Arjun had said, it's not new. So this was a cryptocurrency ban the government came out with in 2013, reiterated in 2017, and now we see it again in 2021 on the back of a big bull run across crypto. And so
listen to what she says going out here for the last 45 seconds or so.
Regulators around the world are paying attention to it. We're seeing a lot of positive developments in global regulation. Places like Singapore, Japan, Switzerland, the UK, they've all come out with clear regulatory frameworks for crypto assets and how they'll treat them. And I think it's notable that with this latest surge in cryptocurrency market activity between 2020 and 2021, it's different. It's institutional adoption. It's major banks like DBS and JP Morgan and Citi and major financial players like PayPal and Square opening up new crypto offerings. And so we do feel within the industry that we've reached this watershed turning point where crypto really is going to become the new money and the new financial infrastructure for more efficient financial systems.
How about that one? How about that one? Now, I apologize that the volume was low on that, so I tried to bump it up as much as I could for you guys without it getting crazy, so hopefully you were able to hear that. But talking about how crypto and blockchain are really going to be a part of the new financial market payment systems. And she's right. Yeah. And she is so right, as DAI said. The China's crackdown is the third one, or a playbook. It's different this time, and it is different this time because institutional money is moving into this space. Large banks and financial institutions are not messing around. They see the benefits, they see the writing on the wall, and you want to be an early mover in a space like this. You don't want to be late, because you could cost yourself the entire business that you have if you do. Looking right here, we see more evidence that there's going to be real regulation coming for crypto. And this is really another sign of it right here. The U.S. Treasury Department's nominee for the head of terrorism and financial intelligence said in a confirmation hearing that he would focus on related regulation for cryptocurrencies. Take a look at this really quickly. U.S. Treasury nominee states that he would make the flouting of AML laws using cryptocurrencies a priority. For those of you who don't know what flouting is, I didn't, so I looked it up. And it's an open disregard for AML laws using cryptocurrencies a priority. So if you think you don't have to follow the AML, oh, you got another thing coming. Yeah, U.S. officials have been raising questions of cybercrime with respect to cryptocurrencies in the past few months because of the U.S. oil pipeline and the meat industry attack. I've told you that this is all playing to the narrative that the old infrastructure, the market infrastructure for everything, whether it's derivatives market, oil market, meat industry, it's all antiquated. And I believe, again, this is why we need to have something very relative to the Telecommunications Act with the FCC here that allows these new protocols to be accepted as a form of payment and moving value so we can begin to use them without any kind of legal issue. Okay, then looking right here, how big is all of this? Well, shout out to James Rule XRP because he shows us all the world's money. This is an article from just about a little more than a year ago here. And it shows that and the numbers are obviously just relative to show you the size. Silver, 43.9, 244 for cryptocurrency, which is now well over $1 trillion. It's been as high as $2.5 trillion market. Military spending, U.S. budget shows 3.8 trillion here. 6.6 for coins and banknotes. 7 trillion for Federal Reserve balance sheet. This is how much has been added in 2020 alone. These are unbelievable numbers. 8 trillion, the world's billionaires. It says here, world's gold, 10.9 trillion, up from the 8 trillion back in 2018. Fortune 500, we look here, stock markets, 89.5 trillion between all others, NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. Again, reminder, parent company also owns back from the New York Stock Exchange. They're not here for nothing. 35.2 trillion with the money supply. Broad money's 95.7. Global debt, 253 trillion. Seems like somebody'd want to do something about that number at some point. 280.6 trillion. Global real estate, which is about to be in a mess, I would imagine, after all of these forbearances that are coming to fruition here, probably before or just by the end of the year. Let's keep an eye on the housing market and see if that goes kaput. Residential, 220 trillion. Commercial, 33 trillion. Agriculture, 27 trillion. Global wealth, 360 trillion, according to Credit Suisse. And down here, 63.8 trillion wealth in China. Let's see, 11.6 trillion gross market value for derivatives. Notional value is 558.5 trillion, but that's on the low end. Then they come down here and they show you notional value is 1 quadrillion on the high end. How about that? And that's what all the money looks like, ladies and gentlemen, right there. And before I get out of here, I just want to tell you, I think as much as we all want to see some price action, seeing the pieces of news that we just went over is extremely exciting to me because they're not podcasters and YouTubers. They're not crypto investors for the most part. These are market regulators and government officials that understand that this needs to happen. And those are the people that we need to see continually carry the baton until they cross the finish line. And that's where we're at on this morning. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, I Trust Capital is the best gold, crypto, silver IRA on the planet. How about tax-free? How about tax-free crypto? Well, here's all the cryptos you could actually get. Don't forget about the gold and silver as well. But coming soon, Polygon. take a look at it. Great stuff on the boards. That's going to do it for me. Check out all the links in the description box in the comment section. They are trusted, vetted links of products and services I use each and every day. Be very careful what you click on out here in the internet world. I will catch all of you on the next one.